Hey, everybody, welcome back. This is the next episode of Council Sessions. And once again, I'm bringing back my Mandalore podcast co-host, Cyber Ren. Yeah, there's the shirt that I sent him. Yeah.
The new shirts. Yes.
How you doing, Cyber Ren?
I'm doing good. How you doing, D. Vizsla?
Doing good, D. Vizsla.
Gotta get it in there.
Yeah. We are gearing up for Obi-Wan Kenobi, which is coming out here now on May 27th, a Friday.
Couple days, yeah.
So we will be doing our in-depth Mandalore discussions on that and releasing that per usual now, right? On Mondays, I guess. Monday mornings, right?
Yeah, we record Sunday nights, released on Monday mornings. Yep.
Yes. So go to Mandalore. Find Mandalore on your podcast apps or whatnot. Send in feedback to our Gmail there.
The Mandalore podcast at gmail.com.
That's right. Yep. To get in on that conversation. So centered around that, a lot of Obi-Wan discussion going on right now. You know, the teaser trailer came out. A lot of another trailer, possibly some other content expected to drop sometime. Maybe May the 4th, maybe around Celebration. This is interesting that they moved from the 25th to the 27th because that is during Star Wars Celebration. Star Wars Celebration starts the 26th. I'm guessing they may have some kind of premiere. I'm guessing that they may premiere something on the 26th at Celebration for people that attended. It drops for us 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. I think 1 o'clock in the morning for you.
It's 1 o'clock. Sometimes it's been midnight. Yeah, it's around there. Yep.
So anyway, before we see this series unfold, and we are getting 2 episodes first night on Friday, 2 episodes.
Yeah.
So we might be talking for a long time. Cyber.
And we don't know if they're 45 minutes or they're going to be an hour and a half. Like, what are they going to be?
Yeah, I anticipate them being the 45 to 50 range, you know. So it'll be like a mini movie starting off. Now,
but that cuts us 1 week short though. Like we were expecting 6 weeks of Obi-Wan. Now we're down to 5 weeks because of the double episode.
That's right. 5 weeks. So a little earlier on the ending.
Yep.
So this conversation we're about to have is going to be centered around the impending face-to-face again of Obi-Wan and Darth Vader. Now, up until this series, all we knew about with these 2 instances, one in Revenge of the Sith and one in A New Hope. You know, there's dialogue. There's people obviously questioning that. The New Hope dialogue, is it going to be retconned, or, you know, does it matter anymore when Vader says, basically he says, when I last left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master. So he's now not referencing Revenge of the Sith. He is referencing now whatever encounter we are about to see in this series. So the question I thought that we would dive into was when they meet up again and fight. We know they both survive, but who wins and how do they win? So we're kind of dissecting really what's going to happen in the series a little bit.
Yeah.
But also I wanted to kind of take a step further after we kind of break it down a little bit. But, you know, like, what does it mean for each of these characters, you know, after having this confrontation again? So, you know, this is 10 years later. So both are a little older, not too much older, but both are a little older. Anakin's technically younger already still. But what do you think? Do you think this is a battle? For one, how long do you think this is going to last? Do you think it's an epic battle like we got in Revenge of the Sith? Or is it more of just a quick kind of confrontation that somehow someone, you know, escapes and gets out of it? I don't know. Where's your thoughts going when you think about this first meeting?
You mean how quick Obi-Wan defeats Darth Maul in Rebels, which I just saw and I was that had happened in one quick defensive counterstrike. Boom, battle over. I was like, what?
Yes. That's awesome. You just saw that. Okay, yeah. So
yeah.
Obi-Wan, that's the thing. Obi-Wan learned from his fight from Maul, right? That was kind of the if you see it, there's a conversation that Filoni has about that where he just remembers Maul's tactic and his moves, and he was able to quickly counter it.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. He has fought Vader before. So what do you think?
He's fought Anakin before, and that was when Anakin was just wrought with emotion. No control, no training, none of that stuff. He was just going with rage. And I think with him as Darth Vader now and under the tutelage of the Emperor, I think he's learned control. So this fight isn't going to be so... I mean, it wasn't really lopsided, but Obi-Wan, when you remember the fight in Revenge of the Sith, Anakin was just swinging wildly. And Obi-Wan was using more counter maneuvers and counter. And even, at the very end, he's like, Anakin, don't. I'm on the high ground. I've got this battle won. Do not attack. He knew. He had it all laid out basically already. So I don't think we're going to get that type of fight from Vader this time. I think Vader's going to be a lot more honed in, a lot more, in control of what he's doing. And it should, I would imagine it being an epically long battle. I think it would disappoint everybody if it was a quick 3-second thing. It needs to be a pretty long confrontation where Vader shows Obi-Wan that he's learned a few things, and Obi-Wan is like, whoa, he's not fighting the way I expected, and is maybe overpowered a little bit, because Vader technically is stronger than when Anakin was just Anakin. Now that he's Vader, he's gained new strength, new power, and I don't think Obi-Wan's going to be prepared for that. If they face each other more than one time, I think the first fight is going to take him off guard a little bit.
Mm-hmm. I wonder how true it is that they fight twice in this series. Not because that would be,
yeah,
that would be awesome as a fan. But how many times can you run into Vader? You know what I mean? Like and live, or him not figure out what you're doing or where you're hiding and stuff like that. It really just depends on where they're fighting.
Yeah.
But when I think about this and I think about their next encounter, again, I keep going back to A New Hope and how can it line up? Because my initial feeling is that Vader would win. Win in a sense that he would drive Obi-Wan to the point where he very much like Revenge of the Sith, he almost thinks he's dead, and he basically leaves him for dead. Like he beats him so bad. That's kind of where my head went at first. But then when I think about it more, it doesn't line up. It wouldn't line up for what he says in A New Hope, because at that point he would have thought, well, I am the master now. I defeated you. He wouldn't say, I was but the learner still. So now, according to that line, I think you have to have Obi-Wan beat him again.
Yeah.
Like Obi-Wan is still the master.
Yeah.
So I'm leaning towards, I think Obi-Wan bests him again, which in the end, kind of if we kind of go into like what does it mean for each character at this point? I mean, that would just enrage Vader even more, I would think. Right? Yeah. That he almost bested or killed his master and finally possibly put an end to all the Jedi that survived Order 66, because they're still hunting them down, right? There's still Inquisitors around here, so they're still hunting Jedi down. So part of me thinks he's got to be just extremely pissed off that he can't kill this guy.
Yeah, I think so.
So where do you? I don't know where you landed, but it's like, what's?
I didn't yet. Yeah, I didn't finish my answer.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I wanted to see what you had to say. I can see it. It's funny you said you think Vader wins was your first thought. My first thought was, no way, Obi-Wan wins again, because that's the only way it can go. When Vader says, "When I last left you, I was but the learner." When I last left you, I was the learner. So that, I mean, he's pretty much admitting that you beat me again and again. You, like, every time we face each other, you beat me. You know, and it's just it's the words, "when I last left you." It's like, okay, at the end of Revenge of the Sith, there was no Anakin leaving Obi-Wan. Anakin was defeated really badly. I mean, his legs were cut off. He was burning up. He wasn't leaving anything. Obi-Wan left him there to die. So
That's
that already
true.
tells you there has to be another confrontation where
Interesting.
Vader's the one leaving the scene. Now, how does he leave that scene is the question. Does he leave the scene because Obi-Wan beat him again and he flees? I don't know if that's in Anakin's, in his DNA. I don't know what you want to call it. I don't know if it's within him to flee a fight because he's getting beat again. Maybe it's a draw. Maybe Obi-Wan brings in some help and Vader's like, "Oh, okay, I'm a little bit outmatched here. I'm going to take off, live to fight another day."
Mm-hmm.
Or going to your initial thought, does Vader actually beat Obi-Wan in this first rematch? And because it is Obi-Wan, because it's his former master, his brother, his best friend, he's just like, "I'm not going to kill you. I'm going to leave you here. You just know that I've defeated you," and walks away. There's so many different angles that can go, and it's hard for me to land on a for sure answer of who actually wins. My initial heart tells me Obi-Wan should be the one winning because of the line, "I was but the learner. Now I'm the master." So that's Vader saying, "I didn't know enough. I wasn't trained or skilled enough to be able to beat you. But now, all these years later, I'm Darth Vader. I am the master of the Dark Force. You were but an old man. Now you're going to get beat." So that's why I think Obi-Wan wins. Every other time they face up until A New Hope, Obi-Wan keeps winning, if there's more than one. But there's that line, "when I last left you,"
Yeah.
which makes me think more along your path, that Vader has to be the one leaving the scene.
Well, yeah, and that's interesting because I don't think I've ever heard or seen anybody kind of bring that specific detail up, you know, because I have heard people talk about the line, you know, and I've thought about the line too. You know, "when I last left you," meaning, yeah, not really taking that step further, meaning that, well, that means that he, as in Vader, walked away, left him, not, yeah, he didn't say, "when you last left me," right? He's not saying that. So that is, wow, that actually might turn me back to Vader now.
Unless,
Yeah.
the only hiccup in that idea, and it is that maybe he's referring to when he stopped being Obi-Wan's Padawan and went under, when the Emperor took him on as an apprentice. Maybe he's referring to that time period. "I left you to become the Emperor's apprentice," and that's what he's talking about. "When I last left you, I was but the learner." And he could be referring to that, which would throw under the bus everything I just said. I mean,
Yeah, and that sounds like the easy way for Lucasfilm to, you know, make it so that they can meet again by saying that, he's not referencing the fight between Obi-Wan and Vader at the end of Revenge of the Sith. He's just referencing, turning over masters to Sidious.
Which,
that's interesting.
That could be the easy way out.
Yeah.
Because you know us on these podcasts, we do it on The Mandalore. We overanalyze a lot deeper than the writers are thinking a lot of the times.
Yeah.
So,
but that is quite interesting because I think Vader, I mean, again, they both survive, but is there a possibility that Vader thinks that Obi-Wan is going to die? Because, you got to think too, before they fight in A New Hope, Vader references to Tarkin that Obi-Wan is there. Like, I feel the presence of my old master, Obi-Wan Kenobi. And Tarkin even says, well, surely he's dead by now.
Yeah, he says, "I haven't felt this in a long time."
Yeah, so well, and he tells Tarkin, do not underestimate the Force. So Tarkin either knows that they had this confrontation and Obi-Wan survived, because he is referencing that he should be dead by now. You know, it's not that you should have didn't you kill him years ago?
He should be dead because of old age.
Yeah, he should be dead by now. So there may be this sense of, okay, everybody knows about this confrontation that Vader had with Obi-Wan, and everybody knows that he didn't get a chance to kill him. Maybe he left him for dead, or maybe he left him in a bad situation. So I'm starting to lean towards that. It's the opposite of what happens in Revenge of the Sith. There's a fight, and there's a sense that Vader leaves Obi-Wan for death. You know, like, oh, maybe he falls and he assumes he dies, or I don't know, you know, or I don't think something like what happens in The Force Awakens will happen, where, you know, all of a sudden there's like a earthquake and they can't fight each other anymore. You know, they're on both sides, like Rey and Kylo. Yeah. I hope something like that doesn't happen, but I'm actually back on I'm back on the side that Vader. I think Vader somehow wins this.
Oh, that's
fight.
what you bring me in for, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So refresh everybody that's listening to this that the timeline of Obi-Wan is roughly 10 years before A New Hope, right?
10 years after Revenge of the Sith, so it's about 9 years before.
9 years. Okay.
So about 9 years.
So okay, and then so when they face each other in 9 years later in A New Hope, and Vader says, "It's a presence I've not felt for a long time."
It better be just 9 years.
Yeah. Because I mean, 9 years is a long time. If they don't come across each other's path in 9 years, then that is a long time.
That is a long time.
So,
yeah,
that could fall into play.
Yeah. So whatever happens at the end of this series, it's definitely Obi-Wan probably going back to Tatooine and then just basically hiding for 9 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Obviously, Vader's not going to find out where he is in this series. He can't.
Nope. He cannot.
Yeah.
Now there was apparently some leaked footage of the fight. I've avoided looking at it. I'm not going to get spoiled.
Yeah.
But I have heard rumors that they think it's happening on Tatooine, but it could be happening on any desert planet. It doesn't have to be Tatooine.
I find it hard to believe that anything got leaked with how tight they have been with Grogu and with all there's no way that something of this magnitude would leak. I think that's clickbait.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm not going to look at it, so
yeah,
it doesn't really matter. But I think whatever confrontation happens, it's going to be a pretty epic one, and I do believe that there is going to be a winner, and I am leaning towards Vader now. Okay. So is that where you're at? You're at Vader? Oh, no, you were at Obi-Wan basically, right?
This is why we're talking. Initially, I would say Obi-Wan, just because of, like, I split Vader's line in half. When I last left you, makes me think Vader wins. I was but the learner, now I'm the master, makes me think Obi-Wan wins. So,
yeah.
But then if you reference what I already said, that when I last left you just means when I stopped being your Padawan and became the Emperor's apprentice, that could be what he's referring to.
Mm-hmm.
Which then doesn't make sense, because in A New Hope, when he says that line, if he's referencing when I left you as a Padawan, that means they never met again since that.
That's true.
So that would also mess things up. So yeah, what do I give you as a final answer? Yeah, I'm sitting in the hot seat on what was that? What was that game show where you got to answer all the trivia?
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Yeah, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? This is the final question. Obi-Wan or Vader? I'm gonna swing slightly to the Vader side. But I don't know if he's gonna leave Obi-Wan laying there for dead.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is still relatively young in Anakin being Vader, that there might be a little bit of connection, a little bit of emotion still, that he won't kill him. defeat him and walk away.
Oh, interesting. Wow. That's a whole nother conversation. Yeah. Okay.
Just to prove a point, I think.
So almost to the point where he does win in a sense. He bests him,
Yeah.
but you're saying he basically lets him live and not
Yeah.
kills him, and basically says, "Go off and die, you old man," or whatever.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I actually could see that happening, and the only reason I could see that happening is really because of the comic series that's been coming out around Vader, and even the VR game, the Vader Immortal VR game. There's a lot of evidence now out there that he does have an internal struggle. Anakin does have an internal struggle still. He's not full Vader.
So far gone. Yeah.
No.
The way the Emperor thinks he is or wants him to be, he never gets that fully to the dark side. There's just
which is strange because we were told he was like, and there's an argument possibly that when we see him in Rogue One, when we finally see him walking down that corridor and just decapitating these rebels, that he is Vader at that point. Like he has no remorse, no mercy, just a killing machine. But
true.
But there is evidence. Again, there's evidence close to that. Even the VR game, which only takes place, I think, a couple years before that, he's still trying to bring Padme back to life.
Yeah,
like he's still trying to find Padme. There's definitely things about in the comics. There's all kinds of internal conflict that he's having. So I agree with you. I think that there is a possibility he could have that compassionate struggle with Obi-Wan still.
Because they were brothers. I mean, look at the Clone Wars. Yeah. But another point for you, Vizsla, is look at even all the way up to Return of the Jedi. When you think he's been Vader for so long now that there should be no turning back. Even in Return of the Jedi, when he first captures Luke there down on the moon, and they're walking down that hallway, and Luke's like, I still feel good in you, Father. I know. Mm-hmm. And he's like, son, it's too late for me. I can't. I'm just going to take you to the Emperor. I mean, even in that moment, there's no vengeance. There's no hatred. There's no anger. He's just talking to his son. He's like, son, it's too late for me. Like he's just having a conversation. He is, even at that point, that's proof for you right there. There's still a part of him that is just not caring, but he's still Anakin because if it was the Emperor walking Luke down the hallway, the Emperor wouldn't be talking just peacefully and having a nice conversation like that.
Right.
You know? Vader's like, no, Luke, son,
there's
it's too late for me. I know you're trying, but it's too late for me. Definitely
compassion there for sure. Yeah. I think there's, again, like I said, there's evidence of it. There's, Obi-Wan. Yeah. And it's funny. If you think about it, there is a novel. There's a Star Wars novel coming out, I think, in May. I have the date right here. Yeah, May 10th. Okay. So a couple weeks before. It is called Brotherhood, and it is about Obi-Wan and Anakin.
Oh, gotta get that one. Yeah.
They're already kind of teasing you that there is a relationship there that both of and I think that this takes place during the Clone Wars. Right, there's a line in Revenge of the Sith when they save the Chancellor, and Anakin says, you owe me one, or something like not because I saved your neck for the 10th time, and he said, well, that incident on Caden and Modia doesn't count. Yeah. So apparently this is that scene of Caden and Modia. This is that storyline.
Oh, cool.
So we're gonna get a pretty deep glimpse in this novel about their relationship, especially and of course you already see it with the Clone Wars. I mean that was a big thing of the Clone Wars, is the relationship that he has with Obi-Wan, he has with Ahsoka. So there's a lot there. Yeah, I totally agree. I think that's a great possibility, is him sparing Obi-Wan's life. Like that would be.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people would actually be upset by that, but I would be all for it.
Because it just ties in with everything you were just saying, that through all these stories, they're trying to show us that Vader has that internal struggle. And yes, in Rogue One, we see him cut down a bunch of soldiers. The thing is, I think where he has struggles is when it has to do with the people he cares about.
Yeah, sure.
Ahsoka, Padme, Luke, Obi-Wan. When it's people that he has loved as Anakin, that's where the struggle happens. When it's just mindless soldiers and people that are fighting him in the war, he's not concerned about them. He's not going to show them compassion because he didn't love them. But when it comes to facing the ones that he used to love, that's where the struggle comes in. And I think that's what is battling the dark side from taking him fully over. So, yeah, I think that's my theory I'm going to stick with.
Yeah.
He spares
Okay.
Obi-Wan.
I like that. I think I'm going with Vader wins, and I think that there is a high possibility that it's because he defeats him, but he doesn't kill him. That would be very impactful for both those characters. I think that would be pretty special.
To counter everything that we're talking about with his emotions and his compassion towards Luke in Return of the Jedi, why in A New Hope they're having a fight, and when Obi-Wan is like, I'll become much stronger than you can imagine, Darth, and he, basically shuts down and gives in, and Darth Vader slices him in half. There's no compassion in that moment. He's like, all right, I got the killing blow, I'm taking it. And he takes it.
Well, I do think at that point, I think there is a point when Vader, is more Vader than Anakin. I think after all this time, and again, up until this point, he has assumed Obi-Wan's not around anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
There's no Jedi around apparently, because what we've kind of come to know is they disbanded the Inquisitors because they don't need him anymore. There's no Jedi anymore. There's nothing. Yeah. So Vader's and his attempts to bring Padme back have failed apparently. So it's like, what else is he besides Vader now? So I think there is a point where he's just ready to, get rid of his past, and he's trying to, and a lot of that had to do with, you remember that fight with Ahsoka? You saw it with Rebels, right?
Oh man, yeah.
Which is incredible. And I remember Filoni kind of describing that, where, he has that conflict in him, and the way Anakin is trying to get rid of that conflict is he's trying to kill everything that had to do with Anakin, right? Because that's the only way this conflict in my head is going to go away. I need to kill Ahsoka. And now it's like, I need to kill Obi-Wan in this. Yeah. So, but
that's the dark side doing that.
Exactly. But what starts to eat him at him more and bring him back is the fact that he finds out he has a son.
Yes.
Right? So that's when the conflict starts really going and really questioning, I can't kill my own son kind of thing,
Yeah. And even in that big confrontation in Return of the Jedi, that through Luke's emotions, he then finds out about sister.
That's right. Yeah.
So, I mean, all of that, like you said, it just leads up to him all of a sudden. I have kids, and that he can't take that.
Can't take it.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a great story. I mean, it's a great story, Darth Vader.
One of the best.
Yeah.
One of the best out there, for sure.
So, of course, we will find out the truth in a couple months. I mean,
not far from now, end of May, right?
I think it's 8 weeks actually, something like that. So,
all right.
Cannot wait. Thanks, Cyberan, for joining me on this episode. We've got another episode coming shortly with Cyberan here as he joins me for another council sessions here soon. Yeah, let us know what you could think. Thanks for watching, and of course, subscribe and hit us up on InsideTheForce.com. We're on all the podcast feeds and on YouTube. Check out the Mandalore podcast.
Check out the Mandalore.
The Mandalore as well. where we dive into deep dives into all the Disney Plus series. So, as we wait for season 3 of The Mandalorian, we've got a couple shows still to do. Obi-Wan and Andor is what we know for sure.
Yeah, Bad Batch season 2, not sure when that's coming, but
yeah, looks like it's probably next year.
Oh boy.
All right, thanks everybody. Have a great rest of your week. For Martin Donison, thank you, sir.
You're welcome, and thanks for having me again.
I'm David Cottingham. May the Force be with you.